Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Marcus Davey once again. Back again with another hot topic here, man. Like you just saw on the thumbnail there, man. I got scammed from a senior citizen, man. A senior citizen scammed me. So, in most cases scenario, it's always the other way around. The senior citizens in Germany, native senior citizens are the one mostly scammed here. They're always scammed left, right, and center. And every time you see some news on the internet, anywhere, blah blah blah, how the senior citizens are always strict to giving their pension and everything. So I never expected that there are some bad apples among them. I never expected like they could be also scammers and everything. Like I said, it's 2016, 4 years back. I wasn't that new, but I was still adapting to the system here in Germany. So like yeah, how things go about. So there's this thing that I highlighted on my thumbnail, Mündlichvertrag. I never knew it's legal by law. Like what I mean by law, legally, you could make a telephone contract, you could make any abo just on telephone. The same it is taken as like when you sign a normal contract with paper. So monthly vertrag is the same kind of contract you could do by writings. So even I checked about this article. Let me show you a couple of articles here which confirms that it is, unfortunately it is in German. If you would like, you could translate it, you could get it, and that's its most reasonable. It's a couple of this information can get it online, like I mean. So like I said, 2016, still naive. I never knew this kind of things happen, so I wasn't that much careful. The reason I'm saying I wasn't that much careful on the conversation that I did with people, but since I know that today, I'm always careful on how I speak with people. So this is how it all went down. Like I said, 2016. The reason I know it, I remember it clearly, is because it was the year where we had the Europa Meisterschaft, that is Euro Cup. So it was just a couple of months prior, I think 1 month prior to the Euro Cup. So the hype was there everywhere. You could see advertisement on the TV. You could see everything, and people are talking about it, countries which had already qualified. So it's a Europa Meisterschaft, It's a big thing. It's a big football tournament coming up. So it was just a normal day. Came out of the from my lectures. For those who know Uni Bochum, there's the Uni Center there. The Uni Center, there's a shopping complex around there near the Uni. So I just finished my lectures, decided let me go to the Uni Center. There's a supermarket called Netto there. I don't know if it's still there, I know, but I assume it's still there. So I went to Netto, bought my stuffs. As I was paying, done with Netto now, I'm just here packing my things. I just saw there was a box stated next to it, and you could just fill a raffle, throw it inside there. Like I said, Europa Master Cup is coming, big hypes, all sorts of advertisement and competition. So I saw this one flyer there. There was a competition about winning a trip to, I don't know, I don't remember the yeah the major prize tag was like winning a trip to the finals. Like you could go watch the finals and everything, all catered for, hotels, blah blah blah. So just the hype. So I just saw that and I was like, okay, I could give it a try. It's just for free. Write your information, throw your raffle in the box, just like any other competition that you always see around. So I was kind of, no, I gave my name, my address, my telephone number, threw it inside there. So couple of weeks went by, then I received a call. This day I was still at home. I think I'm not sure, but I was at home. I think I had attended my lectures and back, or I was to attend lectures later. So I was just at home. Then my phone rang and I was like, okay, check the number. I don't know the number, but I was like, yeah, hello, answer the phone. And from the end of the line was the old man's voice. Yeah, schönen guten Tag. He kind of introduced himself. Ich bin blah 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 blah. And then he went on again to say like, Sie haben ein Spiel teilgenommen. So when you say that, like you kind of played a certain game. So like, and I was like, in my mind, instinct-wise, I just thought like, this is the game that I played the raffle there, and I was like, ja, habe ich in ein Spiel teilgenommen. So he went to say, yeah, Glückwunsch, Sie haben was gewonnen. So like, yeah, congratulations, you won something, and he's speaking some Irish accent. So I kind of already figured out, the moment you're talking to somebody, even if you don't see this person by face, but you can, how our minds work. You can construct this face of a person, like when you're talking to him through the voice and the accent. So from my picture, from the voice, I just saw an old man sitting around somewhere, like working for, still trying to work for his pension, So yeah, and then I was like, so he told me I won something, but unfortunately it's not the major prize, but something small that I won. So he kind of went ahead to ask me, what are you mostly interested in, a sports car or football? I'm like, football. So I didn't even think too much or too hard about it. So I'm like, I'm interested mostly in football. So he was like, okay, alles klar. Then we're gonna do this. Since you won, we're gonna send you a small package of the things that you won in football. Do you accept that? So like I said yes. So like I said, he kind of asked the question if I had, I don't, like I said, I didn't even pay attention to much of the information that I said, but I remember he said something. He asked me if I should allow them to send it to me. I said yes, but he said the packet that I want. So I said yes. So okay, everything. He confirmed my address and good was, well. So conversation over. I was like, oh okay, I want something. Just anxious to see what I want and what's gonna come to me. So a week went by, 2 weeks went by, never received anything. Then before the end of the second week now, then I noticed on my briefcase, my postfach, the briefcase we call it, and where the briefs are thrown in. So I kind of noticed I have a sport magazine. I'm like, just a small sports magazine. I'm not so sure if it's the brand exactly, but it was this similar kind of magazine that is sent to my post. So I'm like, I got it. It had a tag with my address and name in it. So I'm like, okay. Then I was like, this is the package you was talking about. This is just a magazine, one copy. So I'm like, just checked it out, threw it around my house, somewhere in my room, and I was like, I thought it's done deal. So I thought it's over, nothing much. So 1.5 weeks later, I saw another one in my post address. So I'm like, another one? I thought he already sent it, or maybe they made I thought maybe it was a mix-up and everything. So I saw the next one, just threw it some corner in my room, like never bothered. Then came another one. Then I noticed the pattern is like in the beginning of the month, in the middle of the month, and the other one is now at the end of the month. I'm like, another one again. So unfortunately, this day, that one I was a bit curious. Like, I want to see the address where these things are coming from, because they have my name on it. So they have my name and my address on it. So in most cases, you always, like, when somebody sends you something, you always see the address of the sender and the name of them, and now your address. So I'm like, I'm not saying the address of the sender, but I'm just saying my address here. I kind of tried to look for all the pages. I never saw. Threw it across the room somewhere, someplace, never bothered. Came another one, then came another one, and now later on, let's say after 2 months or on that month, now Europa Meisterschaft is Europa Cup is on its way. It is on its progress. We are watching football. We're enjoying shit and everything. Most of the time in the evening, we're either at the uni there. We had a big screen, and over the weekends I used to go with my friends to Bermuda Dreieck. It's a location within the Bochum city center. They have restaurants and everything. We watch football there and everything. So I'm not paying too much attention. I'm not even stressing myself some things. So now, let's say 2 months down the line, there came a brief, like the first brief. I'm like, brief is a post. I'm like opening it up. What's up? What's this? Checking inside. Now I saw a bill. They're asking me for the payment of the abo. They call it abo. We call this monthly. You make a contract, like let's say a 1 year contract for monthly magazines and everything. I'm like, I never made any certain type of contract like this, man. Are they in the right sense of mind? So I kind of call them, hello. It was already a lady who received the call. So I was like, hi, this is my name. I just received a post from you guys, and you guys are requiring money from me. So like for abo that I made, I'm like, I don't remember making any abo, you know. So in my sense, I think making abo is you making either closing a thing and you have your copy of your contract and everything. That's how I know abos are done. So she told me she can ask for my customer number. It's on the bill around there. So I gave it up. She checked up on their system and she told me, yeah, you have a abo. It's a 1-year abo, and it's for the sport magazine. And I'm like, what? Are you in the right sense of mind? I never made any contract. And she was like, wait a minute. She checked around. She told me, yeah, on this certain date, it is alleged that you made an abo. Like, how did I make it? I never signed any paper. And she was like, here it states Mündlichvertrag, like you made a contract via phone. I'm like, I made a contract via phone. Is that all? Is that even legal? And she was like, ja, es ist möglich, dass man einen Mündlichvertrag abschließt und sowas. So like, it's possible that you make a contract via phone and everything. So I'm like, damn, I don't believe that. So I just thought, okay, maybe could have been maybe. Like, okay, so the amount was around 30 euros or something that they were requiring from me at that moment. So I thought like, okay, maybe I was calm. Let me just get this thing done. So I'm like, could I cancel this contract right now if at all I ever made it? And she was like, unfortunately, you are supposed to cancel the contract within 14 days. Like, that is the German stipulated law. Like, if you make any contract, you have the right to recall it back within 14 days. After 14 days, now you have to fully service the contract that you've made. So she was like, yeah, since the day that you made it, 14 days, you had the right to do that. But now, unfortunately, no. You will have to service the abo the whole year. But we can still, like, highlight it right now. We can terminate it right now, but you'll still have to pay for the whole year. When the year ends, that's when now you'll stop receiving bills from us and stop receiving the magazines from us. I'm like, no, hell no. I was willing to pay the 30 euros or 30 something euros for something. Like, I was like, okay, shit happens, but now she's insisting I have to stay on the contract for a whole year. I'm like, no, I never. In the first place, I'm not so sure that I made any of these contracts. So I know she's not gonna help me in such a way, but she kind of confirmed it to me. They have outsourced this work to some call centers and agents. So these people who are calling you is not the main company, but the main company has given contract to some agents and everything. So I kind of noticed this. I kind of starting to be a long chain. I was like pissed off. I hung up the phone. I'm like, shit, go to hell. I'm not paying no cent. So I kind of took the bill somewhere around the room. Now magazines kept on coming. You know, I'm just checking. I'm like, you fools, keep on sending me bills. I'm not sending me magazine. I'm not paying no bill. So 6 months down the line, I've been receiving the magazines already. Then came another bill, which I saw 3 around the corner, somewhere in the house. Then came now followed by an incasso brief. You know, once you see there's this, we call it gelbe brief. You see an envelope in brown, in yellowish form. And when you see that, you always get that instinct, you know, this is not a normal, it's not a normal post that comes day to day, you know. So once I received the Gilbert brief, I was like, what the hell is he? And Gilbert brief, you notice, even the postman always writes the date and the time. He kind of dropped it in your brief, in your post. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, what's this? No, I had this one. So I opened it up, I saw it was written in Caso, blah, 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 blah. It's in Hamburg, like it's an council company in Hamburg. They're writing me now on the behalf of this company that is sending me out magazines. So they are like the debt collectors, you know. So they are the debt collectors of this company. So they stated, yeah, this company is requiring money from you, and we request you to pay this money up by this and this date. Mind you, now they're calling, they're coming to collect, they are writing me to collect a debt of around 60 euros or something. So since they have been given the authority by this company, now they've popped up another 40 euros on top, like they are to service their money that they've been forced to write me to inquire this money from them. I'm like, oh shit, that's quick. Like, you forced, you think I'm gonna pay this money, but I knew this is in castle now, so I was like, I knew this is not a normal. Um, I'm not dealing with a company direct. No, this is like sort of organization with lawyers and everything. So I'm like, shit. Now I need to react. I've been ignoring this shit. I was too naive to ignore this shit. So I can ask one, two, three friends of mine. So they knew what incasso is, but they have never had any issues with them. They told me, bro, it's incasso. Don't ignore that one. If you've been ignoring any other bills and everything, you have to react right now. Because if you ignore this incasso shit, you'll end up being put or blacklisted in Shufa, and they'll still try a way to get you to court to get their money. So, and the bill's gonna keep on piling up. So he told me, like, now try react to it, try see how you can solve this issue. So mind you, at this moment I'm feeling really cheated, because I was 100% sure I never consented to any magazine or something like that. So the friends of mine also never knew much information on how one could go about it. The logic thing that one comes up in is like, try get a lawyer, but I'm like, how much will I pay a lawyer? Lawyer will ask for much money than what they are requiring from me. At this moment, they're requiring, I'd say, 110 or 100 something euros. So if you get a lawyer, you end up paying a lawyer around 150 just to contest 110. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make logic. So that's when I thought, like, okay, I have to sit down and do some research. At this time, I never knew there's something called Berechtigungsschein. Berechtigungsschein is like when you need service for lawyers and everything, and you don't have enough money. Like I say, in this time I was still a student, so I was just doing some simple neighbor jobs to service my rent and everything. So I wasn't earning that much money. So that's why I also felt this is being cheated. I don't want to pay for something that I'm being cheated on. So I didn't know there's this Berechtigungsschein. If at all, I never thought in that direction, because at that time I know I'm a foreigner, and these are kind of things maybe they're only the locals or the citizens get this service from. So I was kind of trying to think hard, what I could do. Like, I even got to a point I was thinking, okay, let me pay up this money just for one and for all and see. But the hard part was, like, what was paining me was like, okay, if at all I pay the month, it's 110 at the moment, but I still have 6 months to cover. So I'm like, damn, I'm being cheated on this. I'm being forced to pay things that I am not, almost certain I never consented to. So that's when, on my research on the internet, I came across an organization called Verbraucherschutzzentrale. Verbraucherschutzzentrale, this is the name. It's an organization which is actually, so this information I read on the internet, they are like, it's an organization trying to protect consumers from service providers. Like, for example, you have a telephone company which offers you services, and all of a sudden they start sending you unwarranted bills, like maybe you never made phone calls and something that, excuse me, or you're just seeing some funny charges which are not much familiar to you. So you could engage them and they could help you solve that kind of issue. So the moment I saw that, I like, okay, cool, I have to go to that place. So the next day in the morning, woke up, went there. And the reception, I found a really nice lady, explained my situation, and she told me, no problem, okay, have a seat, I'll get somebody to get to your situation. So 10 minutes later, a gentleman came out of the office towards me, kind of received me. We went in his office, I explained the situation. I had all the copies of the magazine that I've been receiving, and the bills that I had, and the incasso thing. So the moment I explained, I told him the situation. He kind of smiled and told me, "Yeah, you know what? This is not the first situation. We've been having this kind of complaints multiple times." So I'm hearing him say that. I'm like, "So why don't you do something about it? Like, if you know people are being scammed." So he was like, "No, don't get it twisted. It's this thing called Mündlichvertrag is actually by law allowed. It's legal to make contracts through phone calls and everything. So I'm like, okay. Then he kind of proceeded to ask me, do you remember the conversation, like if you consented to any abos and everything? I told him, to be honest, if this is related to the phone call I had, I don't remember me saying I want any abo or anything. So he told me, okay, the best thing we can prove that, he kind of gave me a copy. We call it, it's called full marked. Full marked is giving full authority them to represent me. Now they, mind you, the Verbrochenschutzzentrale, they have lawyers inside them, so they have their lawyers in the organization and everything. So you give them the authority for them to represent you. Good enough, they charge little money of like 20 euros. They told me you have to pay 19 euros something so that we can represent you. Or I think there was another cheaper option, like I think, I don't remember what the other package was, but they told me 19 euros, but we could do everything. We write them on your behalf and kind of inquire the evidence to show that you kind of gave them the authority, or like, there are rules and regulations on how you could do the contract on the phone. Like the question was stated clearly and you understood it and you answered clearly. That is one thing now they were supposed to prove. So I gave them the authority, paid the 20 euros. I was like, okay, let me risk this 20 euros. It's better than me paying the whole amount of money. So luckily they wrote them, and I think in a month's time they got back to me, wrote me an email, told me the thing has been settled, you're not supposed to pay anything, and they have taken back all the claims and everything, so the issue is done deal. So I was like relieved. I'm like, shit, damn. So that confirmed that I never made any clear like this guy tries to scam me, and when you start receiving the incasso things and everything, for a person who doesn't know much will be pressurized and will end up paying them, or falling into their trap and paying them, so that's, I come to know this is a big scammers organization, and furthermore being scammed from a grandpa, somebody you never expected, you're just hearing this Irish accent and everything, and you're just thinking, okay, it's an old man maybe consenting to something. And that's how I got to learn all these things. You always see them mostly in the airport. You see them all over, where you fill your address, you fill your name, you fill your telephone number. Watch out on these things, because this information always end up in scammers or criminal organization gangs, where they get to misuse your information. And also when you're in a conversation with somebody you don't know, be careful. Listen attentively. If you don't understand what he's saying, either he gets somebody who can talk to you clearly, or just hang it up. It's not worth it. So luckily that's how I got out of that shit. And since then I'm always careful, like I say, on a phone call, either you are clear or I cut you off. It's not a big deal. So, and also playing these raffle things, it's a bit risky. So that's how I got scammed by a grandpa. But unfortunately enough for me, they did not manage to get even a coin out of me, So for all you people out there who don't know about this Mündlichvertrag, it's allowed by law. So be careful, like I said, on your conversation calls and everything. Yeah, and don't be deceived, even if it's an old person on the other end of the lines. They're also part of the scamming shit. So they're not the only ones being scammed. They scam people too. So like I said, be on the watch out. This video is just to educate you people out there. Like, yeah, be careful. And yeah, that's the story. That's how it was, man. That's how it is. So subscribe to my channel for more stories, for more educational topics. Yeah, on to the next one. Ciao.